Daredevil Born Again's pace really came to a screeching halt in this week's episode. I mean, who the hell hit the brakes and why? It's no secret that this series went through some major creative overhaul, because it turns out the powers that be decided that the series was focusing way too much on the courtroom aspect and not enough on Daredevil, nor was it really tying into that original Netflix series, which is quite beloved. So they went through some big changes and started rewriting and refilming a lot of this season. But they clearly didn't throw away everything, so we can expect to see quite a bit more courtroom stuff. And it does make sense. After all, Matt Murdock is a lawyer. That is kind of the driving force behind his character. It really has a lot to do with why he became Daredevil. He sees the cracks in the justice system, and that's what made him really take this step. So it's not really a bad thing that we're seeing more of Matt being a lawyer, but I personally hope that this episode is not a taste of what's to come, because I don't really think that this is what people are 100% looking for. Let's discuss episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again. So in this episode, we see Matt defending Hector Ayala, the man known as the White Tiger. We also see the result of that tremendous beatdown that Matt gave to those 2 dirty cops when they attempted to get rid of him for trying to get this witness. I thought those guys looked like they were dead. It looked like some necks were broken, but it turns out the one cop at least has nothing more than just a really bad black eye. So it's Matt versus the dirty cops as he attempts to free this man from unjustly going to prison. And the key to Matt's entire defense comes down to being able to produce the guy that Hector saw getting roughed up and decided to intervene with. He is the star witness. Turns out this guy is not really the best kind of star witness. He's kind of a junkie, and there's a lot of people looking for him because they don't want him to be taking the stand. After all this ordeal of trying to sneak this man around town and do everything they can, by the way, the entire time that they're trying to do this, the dirty cops are attempting to stop him from reaching the courthouse, so everything is kind of working against getting this guy onto the stand. And by the time they finally get him into the courthouse and it seems like things are finally gonna go Matt's way, well, the guy ends up looking around, he sees the cops, and he gets cold feet, changes his entire testimony, and he says that he was home the entire night. What the F, man? Which leads to Matt doing a Hail Mary that I found to be incredibly hypocritical. Because as it becomes clear that this case is falling apart, losing that star witness basically put the nail in the coffin, Matt decided that the best course of action was to out Hector's identity as the White Tiger to everybody. I was quite appalled by this decision, and I'm not actually sure that that is really keeping in line with Matt's character. I mean, would Matt Murdock really do that? I'm not really sure. He's clearly no longer pro-vigilante, but this is a man that was previously Daredevil. He had no right to do this. It was completely hypocritical, not to mention it ends up putting a big target on Hector's back. So yeah, he does end up winning this court case because they get a lot of testimony from people who have been saved by White Tiger, but it's not good because now Fisk knows who the White Tiger is, and that is why he orders a hit. At least I'm pretty sure it was him. He orders a hit and White Tiger gets gunned down in cold blood while he's out in his outfit. And the man that does the shooting, the one that pulls this trigger, well, he's wearing a very familiar skull on his chest. It would be safe to assume that this is the Punisher, but I don't think it is. I can't see why Frank Castle would come after Hector Ayala. He has absolutely no reason to. Frank Castle may be someone who is capable of killing, but he doesn't just kill innocent people. And being a vigilante does not make this guy a villain. It does not make him a bad guy, and therefore he's not someone that the Punisher would be looking at. It does seem like there is a clear attempt to frame the Punisher, so I would not be surprised if we see him coming out of hiding quite soon, because he's going to have to clear his name. He's going to want to deal with these cops that are branding his logo, and that's going to be interesting to see. Jumping over to Wilson Fisk, he too is playing a hypocrite this season. Vanessa seems like she's chomping at the bit. She really wants to get back to being the queen pin, but Fisk keeps playing it down, saying we don't have to get dirty, we're not into those crimes anymore, that's beyond us. And yet you can see from the bloody fist on his hand that he has clearly been roughing somebody up. But Smart Money says that he's been roughing up Adam, the guy that Vanessa had a fling with. He did promise that he wasn't going to hurt this guy, but this is also the same guy that decapitated somebody with his car door. You can't trust anything that he's saying. He is a man with a big temper. So yeah, it's a bit of a slower episode. We don't really get any sign of Daredevil. All we are seeing is Matt Murdock doing his lawyer thing. I do think that the stakes are being set for the Punisher to return, possibly even as soon as next episode, because he's going to be wanting to answer the people who are framing him. And what's really going on at these docks? Why is Fisk so interested in these docks? These are all questions that I'm hoping we get answered quite soon. And so far, I'm not seeing any indication that Matt is even considering putting back on the Daredevil costume, but let's hope that this does happen sooner rather than later. We are watching this show to see that Daredevil character. We want to see him kicking ass. That's what we're signed up for. I could easily just watch a courtroom drama if I wanted to see nothing but legal proceedings. And personally, I feel like we already got to see Matt giving up being Daredevil due to a crisis of faith in the 3rd season of Daredevil. So we don't really need that storyline again. So I am hoping that it is going to come to a close soon and that Matt is going to put that costume back on. So what did you guys think of this episode? I'm assuming that there's going to be some mixed opinions. Some people are probably going to call it boring. I wouldn't go so far as to call it boring, but I will say that the brakes have been hit, and I hope that we hit that gas pedal next week. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you want to hear more things from me, subscribe to this channel. Later.